Now we want to bring in Tribune reporter Ray Long, joining me this morning, who wrote a book, of course, on Mike Madigan called The House That Madigan Built. Ray, it's been fun talking to you over the last several months, really, about how things may play out. The paper today, the Trib says it all, guilty on 10 counts. So with that, he was facing 23. Were you surprised by the partial verdict?
Well, I think that the jury really did a lot of hard work, and they really ground it down. And from talking to them after they deliberated for 11 days, I think it just seemed like they were placed into a situation as if they were people who had never seen a football game. They were asked to be referees of the Super Bowl. So they had to make these solemn decisions, and I think this is the best they could do and the best they could come up with. And so that's our jury system. They got him on some counts and they didn't get him on others, and they found him not guilty on a few more.
And you respect that?
Yes, yes, sure.
You know, now we wait for a sentencing date in this case, right? And part of sentencing, of course, there's a lot to it, but part of it is, you know, letters that people may write on his behalf, you know, pleading with the judge for a shorter sentence, and also whether he speaks and shows any remorse or takes any responsibility for the crimes he was convicted of. Do you think he'll do that?
I think that's a really tough call for him, because he has to thread a needle there, because if he wants to appeal, also he doesn't want to give too much away. I do see folks, though, like Ed Burke, who said he was sorry. He put in a whole bunch of letters. I mean, there were tranches of them. And that made a difference in his sentencing. He only ended up with 2 years in prison. Many people thought more. Madigan potentially 20, but nobody really thinks it would be that long. It's just one of those things that the judge will come down and weigh all the evidence. The judge seemed to be a straight shooter, Judge Blakey, and so when they get that sentencing date, we'll all be on the edge of our seats.
Well, yeah, you know, and you talked about Ed Burke, but conversely, Rod Blagojevich, he did speak, but he did not really show any remorse, and then he ended up getting a 14-year sentence. I know he was pardoned this week. That's a whole other conversation. But I think the bigger picture here, you heard the comment or the statement from the Illinois GOP chair, Kathy Salvi, saying we still need a lot of, you know, a lot of work still needs to be done to eradicate what she calls, of course, it's a partisan statement, 50 years of corruption in the state. I mean, believe me, Republicans have been convicted too, as you and I know. So let's call a spade a spade. But do you believe this conviction? He was arguably the most powerful lawmaker in Illinois for a long time. Do you think his conviction will actually change things and serve as a deterrent?
Well, I think you've got to have an attitude change in Springfield for sure. I think that the governor and the legislative leaders have got to use this as a moment to make changes. They know there are issues that can be changed to improve the ethical climate in Illinois, but so far they've been resistant to major changes. They've taken on small bore changes and call it big major change, but it's really not, and they've got to figure out how to tackle it now. I do think that it's now up to the judge to determine whether he needs to send a message and give a strong sentence to Madigan as a deterrent to others.
But again, and I have to bring up, you know, again, he was pardoned this week, but former Governor Rod Blagojevich got a very harsh sentence. And after that, we still saw a slew of, you know, of convictions afterwards. So in the state government and city government. So.
I think a lot of folks think they're smarter than the last guy and they won't get caught. And a lot of people thought Madigan was smart and that he played within the lines, but the jury determined after hearing the case that he had gone across the line a few times too many.
On 2 of those 5 schemes, at least. Okay, Chicago Tribune's Ray Long, as always, thanks so much, and I'm sure we'll be talking as we get closer to a sentencing date.
Great to be here, Dana.
Thank you so much.